My name is Alhaji Suleiman Hassan, Idi, popularly called Alhaji Gonji. Naa Dataa Tua is a baobab tree that is located to the east of Yendi, specifically near the Municipal Director of Education's house. It has a history. Many years ago, the kings of Dagbon could marry as many as 100, 200 wives at that time. And you know, the king couldn't satisfy the women sexually. So some of the women used to go out to flirt with people. So anybody that was caught flirting with the chief's wife was sent to that baobab tree and executed on a particular stone. So that's how the name came, Naa Dataa Tua, the chief's rival's baobab tree. So that is the history about it. It was a place of execution of people who had sexual relationship with the king's wives. It's important. It has some history behind it, how it stopped. You know, these executions went on until around 1890 thereabout, 1991 thereabout, when the ruling king's wife was accused of sleeping with somebody, you understand? And that person was a malam, was an Islamic cleric. Now the history is that that woman wanted the attraction of the king because there were so many. So they had to go for spiritual support so that they would be attracted to the king, to sleep with him. So that woman sought some spiritual help from a malam, and that malam really did some work. And then the chief slept with the woman, and the woman became pregnant. But you know, rivalry among women. So some of the chief's wives went and told the chief that the wife was sleeping with that malam. You understand? So they were the woman and the malam were arrested and then sent to that particular place and executed. You understand? Now, the woman was executed. When they executed the malam, instead of blood coming out from his body, it was rather milk. You understand? That was coming out from the body. So they left that place and rushed to tell the king what happened. The king told them to go there and then give that person, that malam, a befitting burial. When they went there, the body had gone. But they could see foam all around with sweet-scented perfumes around. So they realized that no, that particular malam they killed was actually a servant of God. You understand? So that was how the thing ended. The Greenwich Meridian is longitude 0 degrees. You know, it passes through Greenwich in Great Britain, and then through some many communities in Yendi district, through Tema. You understand? So in Ghana, Yendi is one of the prominent towns that the Green Meridian passes through. And you know the Green Meridian divides the world into two. So it means that Yendi is at the center of the earth. And that's the significance of the Green Meridian in Yendi. So any visitor that comes to Yendi can go and see the Green Meridian, and he or she will be standing directly at the center of the earth. So we are currently at the German cemetery in Yendi. The Germans were in Yendi between 1896 and 1914. It was during the World War that they left Yendi. Now, they had planned making Yendi their center. But because of their war with the Gombe, they decided to make the Sansan Mangu their headquarters. But from there, they ruled this area. You understand? Then in 1910, they permanently moved and then settled up what do you call it, an office here, a district, as a district. And the commissioner, the station commissioner lies here. This is the grave. Alois Hongdobla. He was the station commissioner. He died in 1902 in Yendi here. He's buried here. There are other Germans that are buried here. So many Germans. But when the Germans left in 1914, and then the Britain took over this area, some British missionaries also died, and they were also buried. You can see some of their graves around. That's why we refer to it as the German cemetery in Yendi. So any tourists coming from UK, from Germany, and all that, they can come here to see what their ancestors did here. The big kapot trees here were planted by the Germans. Those big kapot trees you see around were planted by the Germans. You understand? Then there are mahogany trees over there too. They were also brought by the Germans. The neem behind you was also brought here by the Germans. So these are a few of the tourist centers we have in Yendi area. There are many. The battlefield is there. The tomb of Naa Yakubu is there. the progenitor of the Abudu and then the families. Then the Abudu, the grave of Naa Abudu is around, the grave of Naa and then is around. There are so many things. Our industries are there, the weaving industry, the smoke industry, the food industry, the drummers, drum historians, they are all around. And so that tourists can come here and then have a feel of how it looks like in Yendi. Yeah, the tourist places suffer neglect. You can see that this is a German cemetery and somebody is farming around it. It's farming on it, not around it. You can see that some of the graves have been, plowed. You understand? So there's a need for protection of this area. You understand? Yeah. So that is one. And then there's also this development, apart from protection, development. You understand? So that you can develop the tourists. As for hotels, when tourists come, there are many hotels for them to live in. There are many different traditional food for them to eat. But we need to protect these tourist areas.